Greetings, YouTube. This topic just makes me tired. Well, here we go. When she was just a scrawny 11-year-old, Sherry Johnson found out one day that she was about to be married to a 20-year-old member of her church who had raped her. Yes, that's correct. Her parents authorized a marriage between an 11-year-old and a 20-year-old. And there are a number of links here to other states that have supported these socially conservative pro-rape types of laws, but I'm going to discuss specifically my state of New Hampshire where I live. And in New Hampshire, a 13-year-old girl or a 14-year-old boy can get married so long as they have parental approval and are signed off by a judge. I believe if they're 15, they can have one of them, but doesn't require both of them. Now, for a little context, in the state of New Hampshire, the age of consent to sex is 16, which makes perfect sense to me because our driving age is 16. So if we say, okay, you can be in charge of a car and put your life and other people's lives at risk, you should be able to be in charge of your own body. That makes perfect sense to me. Okay? But if a parent says that a 13-year-old can get married, that's rape. A 13-year-old girl cannot legally consent to sex in the state of New Hampshire. She just can't. It's not legal. And if a stranger were to have sex with a 13-year-old girl in the state of New Hampshire, they would go to prison. But if the parents think it's okay, they can force a 13-year-old into a marriage, and they can be raped on a regular basis, on a daily basis, if the person they're married to wants to. It gets worse. Recently, a bill to make the age of marriage 18 in the state of New Hampshire was shot down by Republicans. And their reasoning was that, well, twofold. One was that people going into the military wouldn't be able to get married to their betrothed and potential baby mamas, apparently. And that any child born to a minor in the state of New Hampshire would then automatically be born out of wedlock. So being born out of wedlock is more important to social conservatives in the state of New Hampshire than a 13-year-old being raped on a regular basis. And now it gets worse. The bill that had been just shot down in March was put forth by a Girl Scout who realized that she was of the age where she could legally be married and thought that was really twisted. And part of the reason this law was shot down is a male legislative member dismissed her activism. Wait for it. Because she was a minor. Let that kind of work its way through the folds of your brain, assuming that you have folds in your brain, which apparently the members of the legislation in New Hampshire don't have. Their brains apparently are as smooth as my head. A 13-year-old can have their opinion and their desire to change a law dismissed because they're a minor, while simultaneously could be forced into a marriage where they will be raped every day. The pro-rape part, that's fine with these social conservatives, but they can dismiss that child's opinion because they're a child. Social conservatism is a mental illness. The worldview they postulate is toxic and vile. And we now know that they are unequivocally pro-rape. Here we have it. You can't deny this. So go look at the Big Blue, follow the link to the Concord Monitor where the article is, and marvel in this. Just bask in the absolute horrendousness that this whole position presents us. The social conservatives are putting forth a pro-rape narrative. You can dismiss a 13-year-old girl's opinion because she's a 13-year-old girl, but you can think she should be raped every day of her life.